Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So I'm far more intelligent and calculating than the last video makes it seem. So people have to ask themselves, what's the difference between somebody who's Shaka Zulu times 10, who comes from a long line of people who raise their voice over war issues and go to war and fight to the death in very serious combat conditions, and somebody who's more relaxed, right? A Flanders type, right? Urkel, what have you. That is key in this. It is not right to expect people from a long line of warriors to behave like a sissy. And when they're from a long line of very wise and intelligent warriors, and you cheat them out of their place in society, and what is fair, universally fair in regards to admiration of potential wives and economic advancement, okay? That is not just a failed economy. It's a failed society and they have failed philosophies. Think about it. Also, it's important to note that the major problems I had in life were not from other gang members, though at the time I would get stressed out over that. The major problems was from the government, the governing class, from attractive women shunning me, from society at large. I can't stress this enough. Why did I think that it was smart to be a gang member instead of be in my African martial arts system? Because they kept me from that information, and they convinced the black community to keep me from that information. Some of them don't want, foreign, someone from a Nigerian family to show them up. Some are Nigerians and they don't want somebody else's Nigerian son to show them up. Some wish they could tell me, but they would, they get in trouble and they're afraid to get in trouble. There's various reasons. There's people from other races who are aware of this, and they're in secret societies and they're not supposed to tell, and they didn't want. So people were keeping it from me that I'm the son of God. And think about that. I live in one of the most populated countries in the world, in California, where there's 40 million people. There's more people in California than some countries in the world. This is the fourth biggest economy in the entire world. Compare the economy of California to, say, India. And India has a lot of very smart people. Why is that? Because the governing class oppresses people. And in the midst of that, some people are more calm-like, and some people are great warriors who did, from a long line of great warriors who did amazing things. Some people are from very nice and calm, bloodlines, and some people are from profoundly intense, righteous bloodlines historically. And they screened out people like me. And they made it so that I'm shunned. And they made it so that people who aren't as tough as I am teamed up against me. And I knew early on that I was going to work against me unless I formed my own group. Okay, you think I was going to form the Boy Scouts? Perhaps the Wilderness Girls. Perhaps a fraternity. No, I had to form a group that wasn't fucking around. And most people, and the other people in my group, they weren't as serious about it as I am. Nowhere near. At least one of them was very much nowhere near. In fact, everyone else in the group was nowhere near as serious as I am. There wasn't that many of us initially, and we basically disbanded. But there was enough of us to back up the top martial arts ever against any threat. And we were smart. Okay? Very smart people. And as such, the group that you didn't want to mess with the most. And we had friends and family. Like my older brother used to say, they have camps, we have camps. But he was not in my group. And that also gave my network was greater because my older brother had his friends. My little brother had his friends. And I had my friends. And we went to different places at different times. And that made the group bigger. We had a certain potential to bring in dozens of people into an area if we put our heads to it and did it. And that made it so that, my group had teeth in it. My best friend, his family members were down-ass motherfuckers. I don't want to get too much into it. I'll go ahead and say some are gang members. Hey, lo and behold, if you're a poor black person from a poor black family, then some of your friends, your family are gang members. But he had a certain relationship with them that also increased my network. And the government drew a wedge between me and him. And they hacked their brains. And they turned them against me at times. Okay? You think if George Bush got together with Harry Potter and Prince William, and they said, hey, let's give Jesus a hard time and keep him from looking good, you think that's a good idea? That's stupid. You see what I mean? That's fucking retarded. And they have that on their souls and their family souls. Whoever did it will say. And to some degree, everyone outside the divine order is slacking their work, right? One who's slacking his work is brother to one who destroys. Proverbs 18:9. So when Apollyon, the destroyer, the angel of the abyss, comes with the locust, which is going on to some degree already, to some degree it's happened, but it's still happening, right? They're still stripping people because the earth is transforming into hell. And that's the video I'm supposed to be making today, okay, about Revelation 17 and 18. I'm going to read it very calmly. I'll probably do it in 3 or 4 parts to make sure it's very calm. In fact, that's the plan here. I'm not going to yell in that video. It's going to take me maybe a total of 40 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 parts. I'm going to show you, I have that discipline. I get provoked and fumed, okay? And there's people in the news who are talking about how they're taunted. There was this Rattle in Seattle concert with these right-wing Christians. And there's, I guess they weren't far right-wing after all, but I'll still generally write about the situation, the story for another day. And the far leftists that showed up, and again, it's all over the political spectrum. They're all involved in the taunts and the gang stalking and so on and so forth. But sometimes a group breaks off for the purpose of taking the blame for all of it or something. And they taunted them, and they threw urine in balloons at him. Now imagine you're a straight killer. Okay, those guys who they threw it at weren't tough. Imagine you're the top martial arts, you're a straight killer. And some far left lunatics throw, water balloon with piss on it. Okay, and you're meeting together and you're trying to, demand logical change or something. You're at a protest and you get hit with it. Okay? Who do you think won that exchange? Whether or not I take off them or not, what have you, who wins that exchange? You can't do bitch-ass shit to a respectable person and then turn around and say, hey, guys, we did that to him, ha, 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 ha. No grown man respects it. And that's part of what the martial art code is about. It's about, in reality, universally speaking, not favoring their social controller, the police, the government, not favoring the thug, not favoring anybody, just telling the pure truth, in that sense, favoring everybody, and saying what universally is respectable. Why shouldn't you commit stupid crimes? Why should you think things through to a high level? Why should you have deep philosophical discussions? If you disagree with my profound martial art code, please weigh in. Not a single person has disagreed with it yet. And this is I maybe made it 2 years ago, maybe even 3. It's been a little while. Not a single person has disagreed with it yet. Think about that. And it's the same thing with my my religious books, my official book that I suggest people read instead of the Bible. It has different names for it, but it's about 4.5 pages or 4 pages or so. It's short and sweet. It makes it clear how to conduct yourself. It puts things in a way that makes it clear that those who follow my path are following the highest path. The top martial artist who's morally precise with the most respectable interpretation of the Bible, summing up the essence of the Bible in a way that goes beyond the Bible itself. So the Bible has lots of interesting stories. Okay, Proverbs is a very interesting book. I've read it many, many times. I've cited it many times. Very interesting. It starts off really strong. When I first read it, I was actually mad about it because I felt it wasn't direct enough. But when you're convinced that if somebody has their morality straight, if that someone moves through life masterfully and they know to really read it effectively and think about what it means, then it's more enjoyable to read it that way. But when you think about how everyone's cheating me out of my right to lead and it's not direct enough, that's part of what led to me making my own book. Thank you.